This is the 155th Street subway station, 8th Avenue, Uptown C-train. I came here in December of 1972 to start actually photographing. I had absolutely no idea what I would find. I'm a photojournalist. I'm interested in a lot of different social, political, and artistic phenomena. Graffiti had just really become quite important in the city I lived in, but I hadn't done any special study of it, and in fact nobody knew that much about it. I think in December 1972 turned out to be quite early in the new spray can graffiti era. We're just north of Harlem, and we're in an area called Washington Heights. I thought it would be where we could begin looking to find graffiti. These graffiti writers, who were basically children, never went to the museums. I don't think they had ever heard of Andy Warhol. They were school kids, 10, 11, 12. I think they were doing it partly out of rebellion, partly out of the adventure, the excitement of challenging, defying what they called the man. They were part of the same zeitgeist, the same spirit that was in the air. But they also wanted to communicate with each other. So it had a kind of, I would call it a gang quality. They didn't necessarily all know each other, but they communicated through writing their names on the subway trains and buses, especially, to other parts of the city. The book, The Face of Graffiti, was published on my birthday, May 5, 1974, when I was 54 years old. The publication was accompanied by a full-page review in the Sunday Times book review section. It's very unusual to have a photography book reviewed. And of course it never would have been reviewed absent Norman Mailer. The critic who wrote the reviewer, she took issue with Norman Mailer's thesis that graffiti is an art form. Mailer was the first important journalist, writer, critic to make that assertion. He gave the whole graffiti world, can't quite call it a movement at that point, but he gave them an imprimatur that they couldn't have dreamed of. Every time I click the shutter on whatever camera, I'm mindful that I am recording an aspect, a minute aspect of my time and place. It's not that I set out consciously, but if I'm photographing whatever, that particular street sign or this sign, I might do it close up, but I'm mindful where it is in the context of this, and in the context of the train coming through, or the people on the platform, or the people who live here. I feel that any form of public writing, graffiti, is an expression. Well, I like the energy. And certainly graffiti was very much part of that energy. That has changed, I think, for the worse. Today's New York energy is much more focused on tourism and Donald Trump kind of high-rise condominiums. The energy that people like Andy Warhol encapsulated in the 60s is what attracted me to New York City.